We just finished a tour of the Zak Bagans Haunted Museum in Las Vegas. We're here for our friend Jordan the Lion's wedding tomorrow with Katie. So I'd been to this museum. Troy and I had been here probably, I don't know, maybe 5 years ago or something like that, when they first got Sharon Tate's wedding dress. But I came here specifically to see James Dean's The Axle to the Porsche Spider that James Dean was in. And that was probably like the biggest disappointment because we got through the whole thing and past the tip jar and into the gift shop. And they said, oh no, we had to remove that to do this other exhibit. So I was hugely disappointed with that. And also, interestingly, Sharon Tate's wedding dress was sort of like at the end with no introduction whatsoever. You just go through that room and you'll go to the gift shop, and we passed it, and it was like, if you didn't know what it was, you wouldn't even stop. But there was Sharon's wedding dress. In the museum, which was a very cool surprise, was a chandelier from the La Bianca house. That I didn't expect. I knew Zak owned it. I knew Zak sold it. I asked the tour guide why Zak sold it so quickly, and the tour guide said that he probably did an investigation in there. I've never seen it. He says, well, sometimes they're private. And then he mentioned something about real estate people having to divulge whether there's been paranormal activity. That was a bit silly. He didn't remember. He said something about the bodies being on display, and I don't know. I meant to talk to him, but the whole thing ended rather abruptly. I wanted to let him know that, interestingly, that Helter Skelter was written in Mr. LaBianca's blood in that house. So that's a really interesting fact that I thought they should know. But that's me being a tour guide, I suppose. And also, the other thing he said, they talked about the mirror that came from Selettri, Frank Selettri's room where he was murdered. The director, Frank Selettri, they said he was an attorney, but they didn't explain that he made horror films like Blackenstein, and he has this mirror. They did mention it. It used to be Bela Lugosi's mirror. In fact, his niece, who also gave me the Frankenstein picture from Selettri's home, gave the mirror to Zak Bagans. It's very show busy. There's very, sign your waivers that you're not going to be haunted. The Dybbuk box, if you don't want to go in there, you sit over here. There was lots of that sort of a thing. Demon House, stuff I'd never heard of. The serial killer room was interesting. They had like Bundy's glasses that I'd never seen before. Some of Richard Ramirez's ashes. They had a lot of John Wayne Gacy stuff. That supposedly his last pack of cigarettes. That stuff's like golden. As far as the Manson stuff, and they didn't really specify it. They put you in this room, and Zak comes up on a screen and talks about it, and they say, now as you leave, turn left, and we're like, we didn't even get in there yet, and the guy's coming, come on. And that was like the most interesting room. All I remember seeing of Manson's was his hospital bed or his gown that they say he died in, some hair. His teeth were supposed to be there. I didn't get a chance to see his teeth. Did you, Troy? You saw his teeth? Yeah. They were stolen by another inmate, I guess. And that's right. And Manson's remains, which Zak managed to procure. Other things that he procured that I helped with, for sure, the Ed Gein Gein, the Ed Gein cauldron, and also the Kervorkian band. I didn't give him that, but I just said, hey, you want to look at this stuff? And he ended up getting it. I didn't see the rock that I donated to him of the Tate house. We did see it there in the past without my name on it. I gave him a big chunk of it. Other stuff that I missed this time around were Truman Capote's death clothes. I was looking forward to seeing that, and his prescription bottles. Surprising to me, they had Natalie Wood, the Splendor, the yacht that she was on. They had like the Splendor boat, and they had the table and video message from the captain of the ship. But also inside that same room was this mirror from the captain of the Titanic that wasn't even mentioned. And this is like from the real guy from the Titanic. It was just there. They didn't even bring attention to that. But there were lots of dolls. They had a clown costume from the Hartford Circus fire, which I covered before. In one of my videos. It looks like Zak has installed Amityville windows. And there was, Ed and Lorraine Warren, they were the people that investigated the Amityville house, and there was no mention of the Amityville thing, but plenty of mention of those two. And they talked about Aaron touching the Dybbuk box or something, and And that's when his wife took a hit out on him or something like that. Lots of footage of people fainting from the things. It was mostly, I think, for being psyched out. Oh, and of course, when you walk in, it was one of Zach's prized possessions that I gave him was the Church of Satan contract signed by Anton LaVey, and inducting someone into the Church of Satan, and signed by a little devil. And they say that that came from LaVey's estate, but it didn't. It came from me. And but that's well. Anyway, it was fun. Lots of stressing the get the RIP pass. Get the, it's not going to make your tour any longer, but for an extra $30, you get a T-shirt. You get to see these special areas that we didn't get to see. But I didn't hear anything was particularly amazing in those areas. But the shirt probably would have been worth it. Everyone there was really nice. The people that worked there were really nice. Hugely disappointed about the James Dean. That really disappointed me, actually, 'cause that was like a big deal. The Kevorkian van was cool to see. Troy, do you remember anything in particular that you didn't expect or that you liked?
No, I like the Kervorkian band.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that the Corky.
Well, they have a dummy in there, to represent somebody who's committing suicide. But if you look up, it's like wood paneling on the top of the VW bus. It's like that's what they were looking at, probably.
Oh right. Oh yeah. Yeah. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, the VW vans were wood, weren't they? At the tops of them.
Yeah, and the music that he played.
Oh, that's right.
The music that they
Yeah.
played
When they died.
dying,
Yeah.
they had to push the button. Yeah.
Wow. And then that interesting, that documentation, the registration, that proof that Kevorkian owned it, which was also proof that I had his autograph because I sent him a check and Kevorkian signed it. So I know it's the same signature now. But it was, the Splendor Room really surprised me. That was really good. Demon House, lots of demon goats and crazy stuff like that. Rocking chairs and they died right here kind of stuff. Paranormal stuff and lots of curses, which is not nice. It's terrifying, but it was, all in all, it was fun. I don't know, it was $50, $45. I would recommend it because there are some really cool artifacts. Sharon Tate's dress for sure, and hopefully one day again James Dean's the axle from his car. But that Bundy stuff and the Manson stuff was really interesting, and that's true, real stuff. Gacy stuff that was interesting, and the Kevorkian stuff, and the cauldron from that thingy. So yeah, lots of video, lots of explanations. Zach is a showman. I posted a picture yesterday of myself in front of the Zak Bagans Museum, and I got a lot of comments about the museum and about Zach, and I figured I would add this to the video before I release it. So one of the things about, well, it was good. I will say it was good. I enjoyed it. I don't think there was anything fake in the museum. I think there was a lot of show business in the museum, a lot of scary stuff. I mean, them telling you things are very scary and cursed and be very careful where you're going. I don't think there were any fake artifacts in there except for the dolls and the marionettes and all that kind of stuff. There were a lot of body parts that were interesting. I mean, like they have the pickled people, hands and heads and the head of a witch and that kind of thing. I have no reason to doubt that that's legitimate. Although one question I have, like in Los Angeles, you can't display body parts, human body parts. I remember there was a place called Pan Pipes on Cahuenga that got busted. I think it was the medical examiner or something that they found there was a person in there, like a mummy of some sort. So I'm a little bit on the fence with about. Well, I don't, it's not a thing of mine. I don't like seeing people's body parts, I suppose, or maybe I do. I'd be all over that stuff in Italy, going to those churches that have people. It's a different feel, it's a different vibe for sure. There was a lot of smoke, a lot of stuff in the air, a lot of, I mean, my sinus, I was sneezing and coughing during it and after it because it was so intense.
the smoke and the scents and things like that that were in the place. Now, a lot of people were saying that they think, well, there was only what, one or two jump scares, I think. It wasn't, people didn't pop out, but there were a couple of moments where it looked like it was gonna happen, with clowns and mannequins and things like that. I wouldn't have been shocked if that happened. And there were, there were one or two jump scares, but I didn't, feel threatened at all. I'm not a big fan of that stuff, so it didn't really bother me that much. But there's a lot of things about Zach that people have said in my comments, and they've said that he's a fake, he's a phony, and I don't know. I'm not a paranormal investigator. I've been going on paranormal investigations for, gosh, since 2000, I think, before Zach started with the ghost shows or anything like that. So I've been on a lot of those things, and I know how those things go. And I've been on three of Zach's. I've been 3 episodes of Ghost Adventures. We did the Cecil Hotel, we did the Hollywood Sign, and the Silent Movie Theater. And at the Cecil Hotel and at the Silent Movie Theater, I saw stuff myself. Whatever I watched of them doing it, they never flubbed anything, never faked anything. I will say, when we were at the Cecil Hotel, we were walking and the whole crew was with us. And as we were walking, my ankles snapped, and boom, everyone stopped and whipped the cameras around. And, they thought it was maybe some sort of activity. And it wasn't, but it wasn't fake. They just thought it might have been something. Also, one thing I wanted to add is that I don't mind being on this show because I quite enjoy I like being on television. It's a hoot to be on TV. And he's always been nice to me. I'm not saying we're friends in any way, but he's always been kind to me. So I have no problem with it. So I think he exaggerates. I think that most of the time when they do those EVPs and they play him back and they say, "Don't you see it said come over here?" and I never ever hear it. So I don't know if that's psychological, like they're convincing you that really happened. There were a lot of EVPs being played in exorcisms and things like that, played in the museum. But it was all in good fun. I still would like bring sage or holy water or something with you, so when you leave, you don't track any of that stuff home. But I didn't feel particularly threatened or that crazily uncomfortable in the place. And yeah, it was worth it. It was certainly worth it because just for the fact that, oh, and Sharon Tate's wedding dress, by the way, is no longer with Manson stuff. The last time we were there, it was in the same room as Manson stuff, and that was not the case. As I mentioned before, it was at the end of the tour, and it was sort of in a corner. And if you didn't know where you were looking, you wouldn't look for it. So, and we did look for it, and we found it, but it was not emphasized like it used to be. And I did see Manson's toe tag too. That was another thing I remembered that when I thought about it more. But it's show business. It's over the top. It's a lot of fun. He has serious fans. I enjoyed it, and I didn't think it was a ripoff at all. A lot of genuine stuff that's in there that I would say was worth seeing. So anyway, I'm just wanted to add that on to my original review.
And good parking, really good parking.
You heard me.